So in the last session, what we have discussed about the once the F110 will run, then what would be the next step? Okay, how the file will reach to the bank. That is the uh, topic what we had a discussion. Then today we are going to discuss about the bank reconciliation process. Okay, so the bank reconciliation process, why we need the bank reconciliation, and what are the reasons to do the bank reconciliation in SAP. Okay, let us start this one. First of all, we have discussed about there are few couple of bank GL accounts to be required. Okay, just forget about these things. Okay, before going to do the configuration and replicate the scenarios into the system, first let us understand why the bank reconciliation is to be required. So this is a very important one. These are the fundamental things. Okay, in order to understand the bank reconciliation. Okay, now let us think about. See, now this is my cash book. This is my passbook. First of all, we need to understand what is the difference between cash book and passbook. The cash book is nothing but where you are going to write your business transactions within your company, within your organization. This is what the cash book. So nothing but your receipts and payments which you are going to entering in the cash book transactions in your organization perspective. Now the passbook is nothing but your bank passbook. Okay, so where the bank is going to record all your incomings, all your deposits and withdrawals. The bank is going to record the business transactions. Remember, always the passbook balance and the cash book balance should be equal. Okay, equal in the sense it should be if there is any inconsistency. Okay, in the cash book, if let's say my receipts balance, I mean my opening balance should be okay. Let us assume in this case, so the cash book in the sense where we are going to say it is in SAP books. Then let us think about my opening balance. My opening balance, let us say I have a 10,000 rupees in my opening balance in my SAP books of accounts. Remember, the same 10,000 rupees balance also should show into the passbook account. Okay, the same opening balance should be appear here also. That is what I have explained multiple times. Always the SAP bank GL account balance, I think bank account balance, and your bank balance should be equal. If there is an inconsistency between both cash book balance and your passbook balance, then there will be a problem. We must have to perform the reconciliation between the both the balances, passbook and cash book. What is mean by the reconciliation? Reconciliation is nothing but you need to match both the transactions. Okay, that is what is nothing but a reconciliation. Then this is my opening balance. It should be, let us assume in SAP, I can able to see the only the 10,000 rupees is my opening balance. Let us assume the same in bank passbook. I can see the same opening balance. Let us think about opening balance should be, let us assume I have a 9,000 rupees only. But why there is a difference between 1,000 rupees? Then we need to do the reconciliation between the passbook and the our SAP books of accounts, so that we will come to know what could be the reason why the 1,000 rupees is a difference. Okay, as soon as once the bank will send the statement back to us, then we will do the reconciliation with help of the bank statements. Okay, this is the just a background of the cash book and passbook. Okay, so now what is the difference between both? Then how the balances we need to reconcile between both the cash book and passbook. Then now Let us see this one. What are the basic reasons for bank reconciliation? Please understand here, cash book. In the cash book, if I am going to receipt, okay. So now receipts, all receipts are going to, I am going to record at debit side. All payments which I am going to record at credit side. Okay, since payments are credit, receipts are debit. But understand here in the bank passbook, it's a vice versa. See now all my withdrawals are nothing but your payments. Okay, where you are doing the payments. All the payments you are going to record, I mean the bank is going to record at debit side. All your receipts, okay, deposits are nothing but your receipts. Okay, so now deposits are recording at credit side. You can see here payments, withdrawals. Here it is a crediting, here it is a debiting. Simple logic. See now the all receipts or deposits means it's a crediting. Here we are writing at debit side. Okay, just opposite direction the transactions between passbook and cash book. Okay, just remember this is just for your understanding purpose only. Okay, now in case let us assume the bank, I mean in my cash book, the receipts are showing is a more than the payments. Okay, let us assume. Okay, so now this is what we just discussed about. Now, now receipts yet receivables from the customer, it is showing is a, let us assume is a 2 lakhs rupees. Now let us assume the payables, it is showing is a, let us assume is a 1,50,000 rupees. If this is the situation, then it is the balance which is it's a positive balance. Okay, so positive balance in the sense, then my in my cash book 50 rupees is sorry 50,000 will be the excess amount. In case if it is a minus balance, then what will happen? It should be the negative balance. Okay, we need to feed the funds into the, okay, based on the bank reconciliation. Okay, if the same balance will be appear, okay, receivables, okay, then let us assume deposits, receivables, then this is the payables. Then even the bank balance, it will get matched with your passbook. It will match with our cash book balance. In case if it is a more than, see now payables is a 1,50,000. I have to pay 1,50,000, but at the same time receivables would be a 2 lakhs only. 2 lakhs. So now there is a difference between both receivable and payables would be then 50,000. 50,000 is my excess amount. Okay, so now I can understand. Okay, the 50,000 I can use for next payments. In case if opposite direction, the payable is a 2 lakhs rupees, then receivables will be a 1,50,000. If that is the case, then the bank, in the bank, if I would say it's a deficit funds, then we need to feed the funds into the bank account. Okay, just for your understanding only. Always the bank balance should be positive only. If it is a deficit, if it is a minus balance, then there will be a problem. We need to feed the funds as soon as possible according to your organizational requirements. Then basic reasons for the BRS. Why we would require, why we need to perform the bank reconciliation between the passbook as well as your SAP books. Now you can see here, check issued but not presented to the bank. There are many reasons are available, but I just have keyed here only the two examples here. Let us assume the organization has been issued checks to vendors, but now the check did not presented to bank for the check did not presented to bank for the collections. So in this case, what I would say, I have issued checks. Okay, let us assume I'm going to issue checks to the bank, issue checks to the vendors. What will happen? Payments, okay, check issued, and let us assume is 1,000 rupees. I have issued check. Then what will happen? Then we are just issued checks, but the vendors did not presented this check to the bank. So this the issued check, the vendors did not submit it due to that fact that the transaction, the check information, which is not presented in the bank, okay, which is not showing or which is not reflecting in my bank statement. Okay, so now once that will be reflected, then I will reconcile between both the transactions. Means both it should get match. Here it is not. Okay, so now payments balance is nothing. Okay, here is a that in the bank balance, in the bank statement, this transaction which is not appearing. Then there will be a problem. Usually what we can do, if this is the problem will occur, once the vendor will be confirmed, okay, now we have already presented to the bank. Okay, so we have collected to the amount, let's say. Okay, now we need to communicate to the bank. So and so transaction already the payment has gone out. Then but it is not reflecting into in our bank statement. Okay, then we will definitely we need to approach to the bank for the verification purpose. But most of the cases it will not happen. Then the bank will be, as soon as once the withdrawal will be happen, immediately that will be reflected into in our bank statements. In case if it is not happening, then we need to approach to the bank. Then let us assume this transaction which is already happened. Then we need to reconcile this transaction between our cash book and passbook. Okay, the banks will send back the statement. Then we need to reconcile the statement with our cash book. Then the next reason would be a check deposited into the bank, but not yet collected by the bank. See, now I have deposited check into the bank, but as soon as once I deposit, the bank did not collect it. Okay, yet to collect the check amount. Okay, so now if it is outstation check, definitely it will take time to collect the checks. Okay, so now meaning that I just deposited that check into the bank, but I have not yet received that money. Meaning that this in the bank statement, I do not see that the transaction related information. Then we would require the bank reconciliation. We need to perform the bank reconciliation in such situations. Okay, these are the reasons. I just have given for our understanding two reasons. Okay, there are around 8 or 9 reasons are there. Okay, so to perform the bank reconciliation statement. Okay, I just have given here is the background of the why the bank reconciliation to be required. Then what are the basic reasons for the bank reconciliation statement? Then let us see this. Then let us understand the concept. We just have understand here the high level of the, okay, this is the theory part. Okay, why we would require this one. Then let us understand the concept of the bank reconciliation in SAP. Okay, now you just keep in mind whenever you are doing the bank reconciliation configuration or when you are performing the BRS. Now let us assume I have a opening balance. Opening balance. This is my SAP books of accounts. Okay, my opening balance is a, let us assume is a 10,000 rupees. I'm going to take the same example. Then then here the opening balance, the always this opening balance, it should match with my bank balance. Okay, so now opening balance both are matching. Okay, then let us see check issued. Let us assume 1,000 rupees. Then deposited cash deposits. Else, okay. Then instead of this one, I keep it like this. Payables, receivables. Let's see here. Payables is nothing but your minus balance. Then receivables. Receivables, let us assume 20,000 rupees yet to receive. Then now the receivables here. So in the bank books of accounts, receivables, the balance which is showing, let us assume is at 20,000 rupees, which has been appeared. Okay. So now here, what is happening here? Let us see. This is the balance which exactly it is matching with your. First of all, we need to understand both the balances are matching here. Then receivables, this is matching here. Receivables also, this one also, it is matching here. But now payables, 1,000 rupees, it is not matching with your bank, then it is a red. Let's say bank charges. Let's say I have charged is a 1,000 rupees. But this transaction which is appearing in your bank statement, but the same transaction which is not appearing in your SAP books of accounts. Then what will happen? We must have to do the bank reconciliation wherever you can see the red transactions. Since these transactions, the bank charges related transaction which is appearing in bank statement, but not appearing in SAP books. See now, the similar way, the payables with the transaction which is appearing in my SAP books, but the similar way, the transaction which is not appearing in my bank statement. Then there will be a problem. Then what will happen? 10,000, 20,000 total will be the closing balance. The closing balance in my bank, I could see the closing balance would be 22,000. Okay. Then here, what will happen? Here is that only the 21,000 is my only the 21,000 is my balance. Then there is a difference between my cash book and passbook balance. Then we must need to perform the bank reconciliation between the bank transactions and as well as our cash book transactions. Now these are the reasons. Then we need to understand. Okay. Then how the bank reconciliation will perform and what are the causes. Okay, I just have given the example here to understand the how the function it is going to perform. But now what will happen here in SAP, as I have explained, there are two ways are there in order to perform this bank reconciliation. One is a manual bank reconciliation. Another one is the electronic bank reconciliation. Okay, so in the manual bank reconciliation, you will receive statements from the bank. Today, if you initiate payments, let us assume maybe the tomorrow the payment will be happen. Okay, or else maybe day after tomorrow. That is the reason. Always the current day statement. Okay, I mean if the transaction will be happen today, then tomorrow we will receive the bank statements. Okay, the prior day statements. Then we will do the reconciliation between the bank transactions and cash book transactions and passbook transactions. Okay. So now there could be a chances today if I initiate the payment immediately, the payment might not, okay, send to the vendor's account. Okay, so there could be a XYZ reason. So that is the reason. Always the transactions once it will happen today, we will receive the transactions related statement by tomorrow only. Okay, so now we need to we need to run the bank reconciliation in the SAP system. Okay, let us understand. Now, let us understand in the system. As I have explained, in order to perform to match these two transactions, okay, so wherever you can see the red, for these two transactions, we must perform the bank reconciliation. Like a similar way, if I may have the different transactions also. Okay, I just have given example only two transactions here. Okay, so the similar way in your organization, every day there will be a number of business transactions which will happen. Okay, for those transactions, we must need to perform the bank reconciliation. Then let us understand how this will be replicated into the SAP system. Now, first we would require the new bank account. How to create the bank account, bank key, okay, house bank and bank account. In order to create the bank account, when you are creating the bank account, keep in mind, first you need to create the bank key, then house bank, then after that bank account. Remember, okay, when you are creating the bank account, first you need to create the bank key. Okay, so the bank key, it consists of, okay, in which country the bank is relevant for and the bank address. Okay, it will have that one. First you need to create a bank key by using FI01 transaction code. Then the next one is a house bank. House bank, we need, where you can create FI12. It's a transaction code where you can create. Then the bank account. The bank account is same FI12 only. The bank account number which the bank has been provided. Okay, this is what the bank account number, what you need to create. There. Now, configuration of the bank reconciliation statement. This we will see. Execute the bank reconciliation. Then, first, let us do the configuration of this bank account. Okay. So now let me create the one separate bank account, and also at the same time, remember, I have already. Okay. So what we have done? I have already created the corresponding GL accounts. Okay. So now the GL accounts, let us think, here if you see here, all your payables. Okay, so now as I have explained here, see now at least we would require is a 3 or 4 GL accounts in order to perform the bank reconciliation. Then let me do here main bank account to record my all my opening balances. Then the next one outgoing clearing account. Let me copy all these things. See now, outgoing clearing accounts, where I need to record all payable transactions. I mean, all payable transactions. If I want to show in my, to reconcile between the passbook and cash book for all outgoing payments, I am going to use this GL account. For all incoming transactions, okay, incoming transactions means payables, customer payables. Then I am going to use for all receivables for incoming transactions. I am going to use this is the GL account. For bank charges, which I am going to use, this is the GL account in order to record all my bank charges related transactions. Now let us see, these are the GL accounts which we have created. Understand the logic here. As I mentioned in the last session also, always the main bank account ending digit should be 0. Outgoing clearing account, the ending digit should be 1. Then for incoming clearing account, the ending digit should be 2. Then for bank charges, you can only the one GL account will be sufficient. Then why we need to follow this mechanism? I mean, why the ending digit should have the main bank account? What will happen? Now let us think about here. So this is the setup which I am going to do for, let us assume, HDFC Bank. Okay. So these are the below GL accounts which I have created for HDFC Bank account. The similar way in my organization, I have the number of bank accounts. I have SBI and I have the ICICI Bank. It is there. Then when I am going to create the bank related GL accounts, I'll take the example the similar way. For the main bank account, because only bank charges, only one account should be required. Now, for main bank account also, I am going to create the logic like this. 3000. Here you can see here for every time for this bank account, I have created the bank GL accounts like this. The similar way which I will follow for this bank account, 4000, 5000, then here. Now you can see here, always the ending digit should be 0. In case, if I want to, every time, as soon as once I create the bank account, every time I need to come back to the system, I need to map this GL account into the system. In order to, let us assume I have a 10,000 bank accounts. If that is the situation, every time the consultant need to come back and need to map the GL account into the system. But the problem here is that I want to use only one posting rule. Okay, one posting key. Then here, so if you want to use the posting key will be the same, because the GL account only for one posting key, we can assign only the one GL account. If I want to assign multiple GL accounts for one posting key, in SAP, we have a functionality called as a masking functionality. How we can do the masking? How the masking functionality will work here? Let me show you here. All these things, masking. In SAP, okay, there is a functionality to map the bank accounts, to map the multiple bank accounts, to map the multiple bank accounts into one posting, into one account symbol. We need to do the masking. How the masking can be, we need to use, I'll put it like this, we need to use masking functionality in order to determine the GL accounts. Keep in mind, in order to determine the multiple GL accounts during the BRS bank reconciliation. Then how this functionality will work, let me show. Let me take this one. Okay. Fine. Now it is clear. Okay. So now the masking functionality, it is a very important one for your interview perspective also. Okay, how the bank reconciliation will be happen. Okay, so the masking, this is also the one of the interview question, how the bank reconciliation. Okay, during the bank reconciliation, how we can do the masking. Let us see that one in the system. Okay, because in order to avoid this situation, the masking functionality which we can use, then let's see that how we can do the masking. Okay, so now let us create the two bank accounts so that it will be easy for us to understand. I'm just creating the go to FI01, the transaction code which you want to create the bank key. Remember, okay, country is a SG. The bank key which you want to create is a okay. HD. This information will be provided by the bank. You don't worry in real time. Okay. HDFC 01. I'll create this. The bank key, it consists of your bank address. HDFC Bank. Then I'll put it as a reason not required. Street is a city. Bank branch, main branch. Then Swift code and all doesn't required here. Okay, Swift code in case if we are following the Swift mechanism, then we would require this one also. Then I just have created one bank key. Let me create one more bank key here. SBI 01. State Bank of India. I'll create State Bank of, I'll put it here as the Bank of India. Then save it. Okay. So now we have created the two bank keys. Let me create the go to FI12 transaction code, company code Z0SG. Then here you can see here only the okay, the bank ABC bank it is there, but now in addition to this, I have created additional two bank accounts. Let us see, click on the bank accounts here. First, click on the new entries. What is the house bank which you are creating? Let me create as a HDFC C. Okay, country SG. Let's select the HDFC. This is the bank. This is the one what we have created. This should be numeric also. Okay, remember just for your information. Okay, this should be numeric also. Okay, we'll then enter. Create here. Before going to this one, I would like to show one more thing here. That is the important setup here in bank reconciliation. F5, sorry, OY17 is the transaction code. Here you can see here. Let me go to the Singapore here. You can see here the entire your bank related controls will be controlled from this transaction. Here bank key. Here you can see here. Now you can see here for your bank directory, whenever you are creating the bank, you should require is a okay house bank, the bank key to be required. Okay, so the bank key number it's a required one bank key to be required. Postal code. Okay, so the length of the postal code, whenever you are receiving the checks, you can see here the checking points here. See now the 4 is that length to be keep to exactly. Now when you are receiving checks or you are issuing checks, whatever it may be, the check number should be a 6 characters where you can see here the length to be kept to exactly numerical without gaps. The check number, I do not want to any gaps in between the check number when I receive the payments or when I do the payments. Okay, receivables for payables. Then what is the bank account number length here? The maximum the bank account length should, which I am going to create at 13 digits. If you give more than 13 digits, the system does not accept here. Let us see this one also practically. Okay, so now we have created the bank. Let me go back here. See now HDFC I have created. Click on new entries. And let me ignore this one. F12, go to F12. Then I have already created the bank account HDFC. Then click on bank accounts. Click on new entries. Now HDFC CC. Okay, so now description is a HDFC cash deposit account. Cash deposit account. See now the how many characters which I have specified here. Let us here only the 13 characters which I have specified. Let me give here 2, 3, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let me key the 14 characters. What system will say? Currency. Then the main bank account. What is my main bank GL account, which we have already created? Let me select from the drop down. Main. Okay, so main GL account, main bank GL account for access. I will do the description changes here. You don't worry. Enter. See now. Now you can see that the controls entry in the field bank account number is longer than the 13 characters. From where the controls are there. This is the transaction code is a OY17, where you can see here the OY17. It consists of all your bank relevant configuration and controls. Okay, so now this is the system is throwing the error at this moment since I have keyed the 14 characters or 15 characters more than 13 characters the length of the bank account number. Let me remove this one. See now exactly which is matching here 13 characters. Let me try to do the changes here 10 characters and save it. Let me try to save this one. Let me try to the key the bank account number. I just keyed the 11 characters. So 10 characters only. See now again system is throwing the error. See entry in this field bank account number is no longer than 10 characters. The system is populating and deriving the information from this transaction code. Remember, keep in mind always. Then in case if you would like to increase the length of your bank account number, this is the place where you need to increase that one. OY17 is the transaction code. Then you just come back and increase your length of bank account number so that the system will allow you to enter the bank account number. Then let's say that alternative bank account number. Then I just have keyed is the only the limitation is a 10 characters here. But let us assume I have a 12 characters. In this situation, how can I overcome this situation? Just copy this one. In this situation, the alternative account will come into the picture. See now, because if the length does not match, if the length does not match with the 10 characters, then there is a another field. You need to key that the bank account number in the alternative account number. Okay, so now the alternative account number can be used for multiple purposes. If the same bank account is using for multiple currencies also, in that situation also we can use alternative bank account number. Okay, I'm just giving the, I mean the field, the purpose of this field. Okay, so now if this is the one scenario where we can use the alternative bank account number. Okay, so now I'll just remove this one. Just I have explained here for your understanding. But remember, the bank account creation, if I want to create the same number in S4 HANA system, this concept completely has been changed here. Remember, see now, while creation of the bank account, see now, even while creation of the bank account also, the system would require is a transport request. So meaning that this, when we are doing setup, this thing, the bank account number also, for this one also, the system is generating the transport request. But whereas in S4 HANA, this is the completely has been removed. Okay, the concept in FY12, we may not create the bank account in S4 HANA system. Then it's completely the end user activity in the S4 HANA system. So business users can create the bank accounts their own. Okay, so and also at the same time, the system does not create any transport request because since it will be the master data in S4 HANA system. Okay, but we will see that one later on, just for your information only. Okay, so now what we have done, we have created the bank account. Remember, this is the one of the important configuration step. Okay, so how the controls will be, from where the controls will be derived. Then these controls will be at country level. If you do the settings at here, then under this country, which are all the bank accounts will be created, irrespective of the company codes. The changes will be applicable. I mean, the configuration will be applicable for all your company codes. Okay, remember, keep in mind that one. Then, now I have created one bank account. Okay, HDFC bank account. Then what I will do, let me create the one more bank key. I'll just remove this one because I need to use the GL account for another one. F512 F501. Let me create the Access Bank key. Let me create the bank key which I want to create is a 111. Let me create Access Bank. Save it. Now let me go to the transaction code F512. Now let me assign the, see now this is the house bank. Okay, house bank is nothing but your bank key only. Okay, don't confuse that one. Okay, this is the this is the bank, the house bank, in the house bank. Okay, in which bank your organization is having the accounts. Let me create access current account. Create this one here. This is the one what I have created. Let me save this one. See now, this one also would require, the system would require the transport request. Let me select this one, bank accounts. From here, access C. I'll put it here is the Axis Bank. Axis Bank current account. Current account. Then what is the bank number which you want to use? I'll give the number. Then it should be within your limits. Then currency, either local currency or which one is the bank. The currency might be differ. Okay, which the bank account will be used. Then let me select that, because the bank GL accounts which we have created with the name of Axis Bank. That is the reason I just change it here. Enter. Save here. Now let me create the. Let me go back. Okay, this is already the bank account which I have already created. Okay, so now for Axis Bank, we haven't created any GL accounts. Let me create the sorry, HDFC Bank. Sorry, we have not. I have not created. This is the. I'll change it here. Axis Bank. Let me create the bank account for SBI. Okay, so this GL accounts. Let me create. These are the GL accounts. FS00 is the number which I want to create here. Key this number. Let me use the with the template. Okay, so with the template here is the I have already created, right? 2000. Then since it is the Axis Bank, let me create the SBI main bank account. See now, I'm just saving this one. Then I'll create at the end is the one. Since it is for outgoing. I'll key the one. Then outgoing clearing account, nothing. I don't want to do any changes. If you want to prefix SBI outgoing, okay, then you just prefix, then I can understand. Let me save this. Okay. Okay. 00. Error account ID 2001 defined for account from 202999. Balance sheet account. Okay, 1 minute. I think I have given wrong one. Let me do one thing here. 300, right? I'll do one thing. Here is a one more zero. I'll put it this one, 300. Since the account, since it's a system is not accepting because the limitation it is there. Let me do here. Let me do some adjustments here. I'll key 0 here, then 302. Then this would be fine. Okay. Because the length is not accepting, because since we have already created. Okay. Then what we can do? Let me create this one. 30301. Now it should accept now with the template. Okay. Doesn't matter here. It should accept. See now it is accepting because the length which we have keyed is wrong. So that could be the reason system was not accepting. We key here Okay. But the masking we have to give the carefully here, since the for Axis Bank, for HDFC, SBI, it is a difference, but we'll see that one. Okay. So now I have created the two bank accounts. Okay. Now let me go to what would be the next step here. Now the configuration of the bank reconciliation. Now let me go and do the bank reconciliation. Where we can do the bank reconciliation, the transaction code is a OT83 is the transaction code. This is my chart of accounts. Come here. We must understand here each and every step here. Okay, so now let me go here. Let me check which one is the feasible here. Is there any Z001? Z is available. Okay, fine. I will create like this. Then change here. Click on new entries. First step would be what is the account? Create account symbol. Now we'll discuss one by one. Here I have already. There are 7 steps are there. 6 or 7 steps which we need to perform for the electronic bank statement configuration. We'll discuss one by one. Create account symbols. For what purpose the account symbols need to be defined? Now we have created the GL accounts, main bank account, incoming account, outgoing clearing account, incoming clearing account, and bank charges. While performing the bank reconciliation, we are not going to keying any GL accounts in front end. But now what is from where the system will determine? The system will determine based on the account symbols. Okay, so now how we need to create the account symbols? Let me create the account symbols here. Z001 for main bank account, for main bank. Then Z002 for outgoing clearing. Then Z003 for incoming clearing. Then for Z004, I'll give like this for bank charges. Now I have created, these are the posting rules. Sorry, these are the account symbols which I have created. Then the next step would be we have already created the GL accounts. Remember, for those now, for this account symbols, I need to assign the GL accounts. Assign accounts to the account symbols. Now the masking concept will come into the picture. Okay, Z001 GL account. Which GL account you want to assign? The concept which I have explained here, the masking functionality, now it will come into the picture. Let us assume this is the bank account. This is the bank GL account which I want to use now. The similar way, but the same account symbol which I want to use for multiple company. Anyhow, this configuration at chart of accounts level. But this posting rule this account symbol which I want to use to determine multiple GL accounts. What would be the next situation? If I key only one GL account for this account symbol, system will determine only this GL account. But I do not want this situation, because the same account symbol which I want to use for determine for the multiple GL accounts. If that is the case, then what I would say here I'll keep it here is the masking plus I'll keep it. Okay. So now what system will do here? So plus is nothing but after ending the 5 digits. Okay, 5 zeros, whatever it may be, the number system will determine. Then the ending digit should be 0. This is what if the GL account match with this one, then only the system will pick up that GL account. Okay, I do not want this situation also. Remember, this is a very important one, how the masking will be done. I do not want this situation. Now I want to give only the ending digit should be, it's irrespective of the accounts. Then what you can do, then you can do ending digit should be 0. Then the system will determine, and see now main bank account. See from where this text has been appeared, from account symbol onwards, this has been appeared here, irrespective of that one. Even you can remove this GL, you can do like this also. Any GL account the system will determine, but this is not the correct way. Any GL account, we should not encourage this one because the system will determine any GL account. I do not want to determine that one. Let me enter the GL account here. 100. Let me copy the GL account from here. Let me map the masking, appropriate masking here. Let me paste this one. Then what I will do, I will key here is the, okay. I will key here. Okay, the ending digit should be 0, fine for me. So that the system will determine the GL account. So this is what the masking functionality, how we can use. Okay, even if you want like this, the starting digit should be 2, then the ending digit should be 0 also. Okay, this is the way how we need to use the masking functionality. Okay, this is the purpose of the masking functionality, so that the other bank GL accounts where you can see here 300, the system will determine, because I just have given is a masking here. The system will determine those GL accounts. Okay, so now we'll discuss the further steps in tomorrow's session. We'll see in tomorrow's session. Is it anyone is having any further query? Hello?
Sir?
Yes, tell me.
That main bank account is at group level or at a company level, GL, sir?
No, this is the company code level only, because see, individual company code will have the GL, will have the bank account, right? See the bank accounts which I am creating. If I go back here, let me show you. See, this is a GL account which I have created at company code level, legal entity level. Then if I go to here, FI12, sorry, FI12, see now, where when the moment I'm going to create the bank account, see the company code is a mandatory, so that the company code level I'm creating the bank accounts here. If the GL account is at company code level, then you can create this one. But now this configuration, what we are seeing here, this is the chart of accounts level. Chart of accounts level is nothing but once you do this configuration, you can use the same setup for multiple company codes. That could be the reason the masking functionality will come into picture here.
Got it, sir.
Fine, no problem. No problem. So now we'll continue the further configuration steps. Okay, since it's important for you, it's a very important one, the bank reconciliation for your interview prospect.